Stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned. I'm here with the coach, John Brett.
Man, I'm here with the vet, Mr. N. Griffin, and it's always a good day when who wins?
The Cowboys. The Cowboys. It is a good
cowboy, baby.
Yes. Although that was ugly. That was, well, let's say one thing. We didn't talk about this a while ago, but whenever we play the Redskins, it's been always drama when we play them, no matter how it is. We've had it hit T.O. in the hands. We've had Roger Staubach have hard times there. We've had every quarterback have hard times there. And, boy, our offense is definitely stuck in flat-ass neutral right now.
Man, it makes me nervous. But the defense is working good, buddy. I love it.
The defense is gorgeous. I called it, Coach. I did. Man, I said, you get that Gregory back, and you get D-Law back, and you get freaking Parsons back. It's going to be on like Donkey Kong. But the offense can't even score against a damn little Pop Warner team right now.
Oh, my gosh.
It's sad.
I'm a little worried, but I enjoy a W always.
Yes. So we're going to talk about what's hit the headlines all week. I always believe in a little honesty, to tell you the truth there, Coach. It's just how I was raised. You and I were kind of cut from the same mold on that. If you're not honest, you're going to get your butt handed to you, and it's just not the Christian thing to do is be dishonest. So we're going to talk about the most unhonest person we've heard in the last 2 years, besides Hillary Clinton, besides Nancy Pelosi, besides Joe Biden, besides Chuck Schumer, and there's a whole other line of list. But Jussie Smollett.
Wow, justice for Jussie, justice for Juicy, whatever you want to call it. I mean, this thing's been crazy. And you brought up the president and vice president. I know we'll get more into that, but their dishonesty from the beginning on this is whatever happened to people waiting for the facts to come out and letting the American people, see the facts. But what you do with these two guys and what they did, some of the presidents before is you go ahead and get the emotions sparked before the facts come out. In this case, one of my best friends growing up, one of our friends growing up, Marty Banks, on day 2 of this whole thing, when everybody, including myself, thought, man, this is so terrible. He sent me a message and said, dude, somebody write about this. I think this is a fake thing. And I'm like, come on, man. Marty Banks popped it from day 2, man.
I will say, let's just throw out what was supposedly happened in Chicago, the coldest day of the year, at 2:30 in the morning, something like that. I'm not sure the time, something like that. You had to have your subway fix at that, And actually, the subway thing is what the cops go, something ain't right here. And you were attacked supposedly by white supremacists in downtown Chicago with MAGA hats saying, this is MAGA country, mother flipper, Mr. Superstar from Empire. I'm going to tell you right now, half the white population don't even know what the show Empire is all about or any of that stuff. And sure don't know who Jussie Smollett was until he opened his mouth, to be quite frank with you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just sitting here going, how bad has life got to be that the way you need attention is to stir racial controversy for your benefit, to extort human feelings across the nation for your benefit? How bad does your life have to be? Throw all the other BS out. You have to have a miserable life to do that right there. And that's just my thinking is, wow, dude, I hope you get some help, because there's a whole lot of racial connotations that you are accusing people of that you were just feeding yourself the other way, to be honest. So, I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on it, Coach?
Well, in the last few years, the racial divide has kind of come up, but it's not really as bad as people think. But the talk of it being division is what's so bad. So let's just turn this around. Like I always hear people say, well, if this person was a black guy carrying an AK-47 or AR-15, it'd have been totally different. Well, let's look at this. Let's say a white guy is walking down the street in Dallas, Texas, and is attacked by Black Lives Matter. And he's attacked with Black Lives Matter hat on. And they yell, cracker ass cracker. And forget Obama, he was a N-word. and say all these things, and then they come and report this is what happened, not really happened. This is what they say happened, and made all this up. What do you think the left, MSNBC, CNN would say right now about the white guy that made this up about the black? I mean, just turn it all around. So you look at it that way and you go, oh my gosh. But another thing, Vet, is we have to applaud America. He put one half of America on notice that you guys hate black people and you guys hate, gay people that are black. Talking about people that voted for Trump, that was half the country. But when you have to make up a hate crime to say somebody did these things because it's not happening like it was 30, 40, 50 years ago to get the attention, then we need to clap for America and say, hey, something good's going on, Vet, when you have to make one up to get this much attention from the left. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I agree. Is everything that was said, you're just like, wow. And then it comes out that he paid these guys. He knew them. He paid them. Contractor $3,000, $3,500. I forgot what the price was.
He was just he paid them to train him $3,500 by check.
Yeah, whatever. So he paid him $3,000 to whoop his ass, and he couldn't even pick some people that were white, at least, that would even fall in line with it. That if you had the video, talk about what's that called? That's when you pick the white guy to be the Chinese guy in movies or whatever, or when John Wayne played Genghis Khan. I love John Wayne. John Wayne's the greatest man, but he ain't Genghis Khan. All right. Or I don't know. Or the Prince of Persia, the dude that played that. I loved the show. I thought it was great. But yeah, that was definitely not racial sensitivity and picking Jake Gyllenhaal to be the dude in there, apparently he missed that memo. I think that's a big memo in Hollywood, as a matter of fact. But anyway, we sit here and then we spun the police up. And now let's talk about the second part, though. The DA dropped the charges after getting a phone call from who? The president's wife. The former president's wife, Michelle, called the DA and goes, hey, you need to chill out on this a little bit here. Let old Jussie, he got to have a good day. Just leave it be. We don't want to stir the controversy here. And the DA did that shit. And talk about a little interference, as if we never saw that from the Democratic Party ever. Hillary doesn't do that with the Russia collusion shit at all. Stir us up for 4 years. Biden hadn't done nothing like that. It just exists in that party. So we had the interference from there. And then finally enough people had said, whoa, something's wrong here. Something is definitely wrong here. And if you think about this, first of all, as so many comedians and everybody else have talked about this, who the hell buys Subway at 2:30 in the morning? I'm telling you that. Who the hell goes out at 2:30 in the morning on the coldest day of the year? I don't know. And I can tell you, if you think that somebody's going to come up to you and say it's MAGA country, if they ain't deer hunting, they ain't out at 2:30 in the morning either. I'm just throwing it out there at you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. What do you think, Coach?
Well, you have to think about the repercussions of what this is. This is not just something that we can let go. I'm still sick. There's a Black Lives Matter LA that released a statement the evening of the verdict or the day after the verdict that said, we still believe him. We would never believe anything that the police department says. So Jussie is still innocent to them. You have some that, like we said, President 46, Vice President Harris, the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, and so on, and half of Hollywood tweeted all of these things about a modern day lynching, all these things. So pretty much what they're saying is we have gone back 50 years because of Jussie Smollett wanted to keep a noose on when he called police. And then when it becomes that it's not true, they don't want to applaud America and say we're not there. They don't want to vilify the liar, even though he did lie and was caught lying. We live in the 21st century, Jussie Smollett. There is a camera on every corner. Even in White House, Texas, I can't pull up to a red light without there being a camera. This dude's in the most affluential Chicago neighborhood walking down the street and just happens to forget that I don't need to hire white people to say white people attack me, forgetting that there's going to be a camera on every block, Vet. Are you kidding me, this guy? So one of the things that really we have to look at going forward is we look at it, we have to say this, what does this do to real hate crimes in the future? What does this do to real hate crimes that are to Black people, to Asian people, to Jewish people, and even homophobic or transgender people? No one with any sensible morality wants anyone to hurt someone based on gender, race, religion, or anything. But when you start having more and more of this crap, more and more people right off the bat are not going to just believe like the U2 movement said, or excuse me, the Me Too movement said, you just have to believe them. More and more people now are questioning people because of fools like this.
Well, so I got a couple of things on here. First of all, I'm going to cover that part, but I want to talk this. How anxious was America from Good Morning America, from The View, from all those channels, to include the president and vice president, Nancy Pelosi, how anxious were they willing and wanting for something like this to happen so they could jump on it? Because they jumped all in. Hey, you got me, man. I am there, man. You threw the biggest bait there was, and I'm all into that. And like you said, they didn't apologize. But what is sad is we have a part of America that wants that to happen, that is eager for that to happen. That is the sad part.
You're sad. You can say that one more time. Half of America, or no, I won't say half, a good part of America, that's the truth that they don't want to admit. That's the elephant in the room.
Yes.
They want this crap to be true.
They want to feed that narrative right there. And what's amazing is that narrative isn't there. I'm going to cover two things on this part. So the next thing is if you sit there with this case with the Jussie Smollett, like you said, I've always said, what does people use the R word, the race word for today? It's to end the conversation. Right. I got you. You can't talk back because you're not tough enough to talk to me about the race word. Well, we've evolved the last few years where we're like, screw you. I'm not a racist. Bring it on. And they go, oh, shit. Somebody actually bucked up to that. And that's what's happening right here. Like you said, somebody's like calling bullshit, and they call it. And now we're not going to sit there and pander to it. So now we're going to have some truth in all this here, where as if you look at it, you're going to go, oh, my goodness, that is racist. Oh, my goodness, that is not racist. Kind of like all the latest court cases. The Arbery case was racist. The Rittenhouse was not. Actually, it was from the media part, but it was the opposite of what most people call racism. It was racism against the white guy is what it was. You know, so we're evolving. And so thank you, Jussie Smollett, for allowing us to evolve, to call through bullshit like you and bring America forward. I will say this. We've heard this last year, how the Defense Department is going to study the military to find extreme racist groups, to find the Quanan and all that. But Coach, I've been in the Army 31 years. And I can tell you, I can count on one hand in 31 years. And I had to know the pulse of my soldiers as a sergeant major. I can count on one hand how many racial issues I've had. But the racial issues that came to my desk was not what most people think. And I'll give a good example. I brought my children to work one day on a Saturday. We was working on a Saturday, and I brought them in. We was about to go to PX afterward. And as I did, I have a son who's half black and half white. And he sat on my lap, and this lieutenant came in, and I had my other three kids with me, didn't look at them whatsoever. He goes, Sergeant Griffin, who's these kids here? And I said, oh, they're mine, ma'am. And she goes, oh, and she looked at the little boy that was sitting on my lap, and she goes, what about this young man? I said, they're all my children, ma'am. And she sat there and didn't give the other three the time of day whatsoever because they were Caucasian. But because one kind of looked like her, that's the only one she gave a living flying F about, was that one right there. And she could not believe that he was my child. And so I messed with her. I said, yeah, my wife and I had an estranged relationship, and I wound up getting custody of the kid. My wife lived with me after that. It's my son. And he called me dad while sitting in my lap, but she could not get through that. She was perturbed. That is a form of racism right there. But we don't talk about that because we're too above that, to be quite frank. I just let it go because I look at it as ignorant shit. And so when we look at all these things that everybody, the news tries to perpetuate, oh my God, it's racism. No, it's not. It's not. You just want it to be. So look to the bullshit. So anyway, go ahead, Coach. I apologize.
Well, no, I believe exactly what you said. And that's why we've talked about it before. And that's why I say cancel the cancel culture, because what happens is the cancel culture, like you said, the definitive answer or the ending game for them is, yeah, you make a point, but it's because you're racist. So when you say, no, what, I'm going to cancel that out with truth and facts, and I'm not going to get involved in believing your bullshit. And I'm going to say, you know what? I just don't play the game. I'm going to give facts, and I'm going to give my opinion based on me as an American, not based on my skin color, and not based on your skin color. I'm going to call morality out based on what truth is. And when you do that, we start pushing back against this crap, and we just stand up with my chest out. I'm not racist, and you're not going to call me a racist. And if you call me a racist, that's on you, not me. If you do something against me and you're black, Asian, or whatever, and you say the only way that racist or racism can be there is by the white man having the power, I call bullshit on that. You can treat me differently just because I'm white and call me names just because I'm white. And guess what? Ding, ding, ding. That's racism. It can't just be that white people can be, no one wants to color, and you can't call them out because they can do what they want to. I say bullshit. If you're doing something that's racist, if you're doing something that's immoral, if you're doing something that's dishonest, and we call it out, I don't care the color of my skin. Martin Luther King would say, hey, you're wrong, and I'm going to say you're wrong.
Coach, you're breaking up a bit, but I agree with you. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. If you're racist, you're freaking racist. And it don't matter which race you're racist towards, period. Because anybody can be racist towards anybody, period. It is what it is. And people can be racist to their own color as well. And that happens an awful lot, matter of fact. But moving along is Vet-Jussie Smollett has taught us a lot. And has taught us the media don't know crap. One. Two, politicians, especially presidential candidates and vice presidential candidates, don't know crap, and they'll jump on a bandwagon as long as it will drive a narrative they support. Two, because as long as we push that narrative, hell, we can pass an infrastructure bill because we can say the bridge was based off racism. I'm like, how the hell you get that? That's a reach from hell. I can tell you that. The other thing that Vet-Jussie Smollett taught us is America is willing to say, no mas. Prove to us it was racist. Prove to us that it was racist. Because no longer can just somebody go, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull out the race card and you can't say shit. Oh, that race card don't mean nothing. It's lower right now. The race card is lower than the deuce of clubs in the spade game. I'm just throwing it out there. It don't do shit. All it is a sandbagger. That's all it is. And that's all we saw with Vet-Jussie Smollett. So now the question I got is, does Vet-Jussie Smollett have a future in Hollywood?
I believe he does. And you know why? Because Hollywood and the mainstream liberal media wanted it to be true. They're actually going to applaud this guy, Vet, because he tried to get over on the white MAGA Trumpsters crowd, whatever you want to call it. CNN, you sent it to me and I posted it, but within 15 minutes of the verdict, their narrative, let's remember, he was convicted on 5 of 6 charges, and they said Vet-Jussie Smollett was convicted on some charges. I don't know what kind of math they've done, what kind of analytics they've ever done, but 5 of 6, Vet, that's most. Or you could even say almost all charges. But to say some charges lets me know that Vet-Jussie Smollett is going to be on The View soon. He will be on Late Night at MSNBC with Rachel Maddow soon. And they're going to sit there and softball this guy to death. He's going to drop a tear. And they're going to say, he was pressured by this new white supremacy / ABCDEFG. And you know what? It's not his fault. He'll get a new deal somewhere. He'll be on Netflix in a year. He'll be the next best thing since sliced bread to one half of the country. But to the other half of the country, we're going to call him out as bullshit and a liar. And I'll guarantee you right now that I'll never watch a thing he's on.
Well, I concur with that. He can expect me to watch him right before I watch Sean Penn, which I don't watch neither one of them. But this is the deal. He was convicted on 6 felons for lying. Now, let's think about this. The FBI pulled General Flynn in for doing his job and coerced him over that they would turn in his children for something they did wrong and go after his children. And they found him in a lie they felt was irrelevant. But, the administration, during that time, the FBI was in for the lynch mode. He went after his career, ended his career. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much over that. So my deal is when is Jesse going to jail? I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. I learned it's court martials. When somebody's pronounced guilty and I had to escort them, I would have a prosecution attorney come to us and says, why are y'all not having them in bracelets yet? Yeah. They're guilty. They have to be in bracelets. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know. Okay. They said, I need to do it outside. I said, no, you do it right here in front of everybody. Oh, I didn't know. Okay. So why is he not in bracelets and why is he not in jail? Why does he get to go home for Christmas?
Yeah.
Well, I don't understand that.
Vet, 3 things, and I know we're getting close, but 3 things, and we can't forget it. Number 1 is you're right. Kim Foxx, let's don't forget who Kim Foxx is. She was the district attorney that turned her back. Why is she not being charged with a crime?
Great.
Number 2, not only did they take a whole lot of resources away, and Chicago needs more resources than anyone in the police department, the district attorney's office, and the court system. His civil trial, not only should he lose that, but he should be paying bank back to that $100,000 an episode this fool was getting. And the third thing is you're correct. He not only lied to the police, but he lied under oath because lying under oath is perjury. And what I heard the other day is not only could he get 3 years, he could actually get 3 years on each count if they really went that way. So now let's see what we're going to hear. White supremacy, judicial system systematically against black people because they give him the full amount, or are they going to buckle and give his butt something because they're scared to death to be called racist? And that's what we're about to see, Vet. Yeah.
So the judge will be Johnny Cochran's uncle, and he'll say the judge was racist for it's all over. That's what he'll say.
Oh, there's no doubt. Remember, real quick, the defense attorney was on one of the radio shows the other day, and she actually asked for a mistrial because she said when they got up close to have a confrontation up by the bench that he lunged at her. The judge actually lunged at her, and it made her feel scared. Are you kidding me? This is what we're getting into, bro.
So it's interesting, to say the least. Woo! But thank you, Jesse Smollett, for waking up America. We ain't putting up
justice for Juicy.
Yes.
Justice for Juicy.
Because we're calling out racism instead of sitting like freaking lambs back there with the wolves coming up going, oh, don't hurt me because you called me racist and I'm not, but I don't want to tell anybody because I don't want to piss you off and have you stir a shitstorm. Instead, I'm going to say, screw you, I'm not a racist.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. And we're going to get justice. He better get some prison time or we should not have peace.
Yes. So with that there, we got to kick it out of here.
Get out.
So from the coach
to the vet.
Stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned.